guys? Joe, Muscle Minibike Builds. It's been a long time, man, since I did a video. It's been one crazy year. I think the last time I did a video was back in, it was after COVID, so I think it was like late March or April, so it's been almost a year. Anyway, a lot has happened in the last year. And this is a build I'm wanting to do for a while. Doing a ZS190 swap. Got a brand new motor right here. Got that from David Bullock. Look him up online. He's in a lot of the ZS190 groups, the CT70 forums and stuff like that. Sells this motor for like $725 now, delivered to your door. Delivered to your door. 190cc 5-speed electric start. Can't beat it. So what am I building? Well, in the last year I became a dealer for Apollo and about 5 other pit bike manufacturers. And I've been wanting to do a 190 build, like a Mini-Super-Moto. And we have, what we got coming up here in next weekend is our 5th annual Phoenix Hood Ride. 300 to 400 bikes, mini bikes, pit bikes, GoPeds, Groms, Z125s, all small bikes. We all go to the south end of the valley, meet up, and then we got about a 40-mile ride. I routed it out 2 weeks ago with a couple of guys that are in the AZ Minibike group and AZ Pit Bike group. So we have the thing all routed out on a map. We don't release any of the details of the ride until the night before. We do a meetup in the morning at Ponchos for breakfast around 8 o'clock. We go to the meetup spot at 10, kickstands up at 10:30, and we're out there riding. A couple stops along the way. It really is a blast. Here's a couple clips of last year's ride. Take a look and you see what I'm talking about. This is no joke.
Gang.
Pretty cool, right? So that's what this bike is being built for. It's a brand new 2021 X15 Apollo RFZ 125. 125 motor's coming off. I posted the motor last night. Got, oh man, like 20 messages and requests off of OfferUp and Facebook to buy the motor. Sold it in 10 minutes. Gone, done. So motor's coming off the bike right now. Matter of fact, the guy that's buying it's picking it up here today, and we're getting it out of here. I got the 190 sitting here, waiting to go, plus a whole assortment of parts. Take a look at this. So here's what we're doing. Here's the complete package of parts. 190cc, got from David Bullock. Best price you can find online. Look him up on Facebook. I'll put a link below in the description, but $700 for a 190 complete with oil cooler, carburetor, harness, everything you need delivered to your door. Can't beat it. There's nobody on the internet any cheaper. Comes with the oil cooler with braided lines, complete harness, CDI box, regulator, rectifier, everything you need. Intake manifold, gear cover for the chain guard, you know, the back half of the motor, shifter. I'm not using the stock carburetor. I decided to go with a 28mm PWK style carburetor, a COSO. I've used them before. It works good. I have one on my other 190. Got it dialed in. I'm really happy with the performance of it. Gearing. Going with a Pro Taper PT420MX chain to a 35 rear to a 17 front sprocket. The sprocket that's on the bike now, I think is a 41. The wheels came, I think, with a 37, and I want a 35 because I want this thing for cruising speed. All new hydraulic setup, hydraulic clutch, a new hydraulic cylinder, master cylinder rather, for the brake. And then I got, like I said, a clutch one as well, plus a clutch slave cylinder, which works phenomenal. The clutch is like butter when it's done. And again, hydraulic line clutch, hydraulic line brake. Putting the power to the ground on a set of Super-Moto alloy wheels, okay, wrapped in a set of Kenda quick tires, 130 rears, 120 fronts. Running an anti-gravity battery. They're $100, $110. I use them on every one of my 190s. They're super light, super small. You can put them anywhere. Headlight setup. Dual headlight setup with LEDs in it. I got a taillight setup as well. Nice mandrel bent stainless steel, 1.75 exhaust cutout basically. It's going to get trimmed up and go in here. It's going to be a little shorter, so it's actually going to be in here. I want a little turn down on it. Getting a tack. You know, these tacks never come with instructions, but they're super easy to hook up. I did a video on these a couple months ago. I'll put a link in the description. Shift indicator. It's got a gear shift indicator. Because this motor's got a shift switch on it, you can wire this in, and it'll tell you what gear it's in. So it's kind of cool. Billet headlight switch for the lighting system. A set of Bitwell grips with a new set of anodized red bar end weights. And the pretty cool dual headlight setup. So it's going to look kind of neat on it. So there's the package that's going in. I think that black motor is bitching too, by the way. And just watch the rest of the build, man. This is going to be a killer bike when we get it done. And it's actually going to be a fairly easy build. I built a couple of these before. Looking forward to it. Starting out again, like you've seen, a brand new 2021 RFZ Apollo. And let's go from there. Pretty nice stuff, right? I love the wheels. You know, wrapped them in 130 by 70/12 rear and a 120 by 70/12 front. They're basically Honda Grom tires. They're Kenda Quicks with a K. Good tires, sticky. I've ran them before. I got them on my Grom. They work real well. So that's what's going on. And, you know, the bike's getting a lot of stuff done to it, you know. I got a shift indicator going on it. Of course, I got lighting on it because this thing is going to be street legal. The other thing that I'm doing to it is obviously the 190 swap. That's what the whole premise of this whole thing is. So, tons of stuff, a lot of work ahead of us. This is going to be a two-part build. So let's dig in and get started. Get this thing stripped down, get the motor off of it, and we're going to go from there. I'll be back in a little bit. Just keep watching. There we go. Didn't take too long to strip it all down. And by the way, this thing had gas in it because I test ran the motor just to make sure it was good before I took it apart and sold it off. So I had to pinch off the fuel line with a fuel line clamp, but we're all good. Now let's get this thing set up where we can pull the motor right out of it and take the wiring harness and everything. tie a wire harness, everything goes. One thing nice about working on a brand new bike is that everything comes apart, nothing's broken, nothing's rusty, you know, nothing's rigged together, you know, it's never been messed with, so that's kind of cool. This bike happens to be a brand new 2021. I did run it, like I said, just to make sure the motor was good. It's fine. So now I'm just taking everything off. The new buyer, it's getting the motor, it gets a complete bike, motor, harness, CDI box, kill switch, everything. Everything goes. So it's a complete package. So you can take this motor and just bolt it right into his new bike, which I think he's putting together for the hood ride. So that's kind of cool. So I'll see this thing run again next week. Everything's going to come out of it. Going to unbolt the motor and drop the motor out in a couple of seconds here. And let's have some fun, man. Follow along. Let's go. There is one thing I am noticing, and it's actually kind of good to see. So far, every bolt I've been taking off has Loctite on it. You didn't find that on Chinese bikes up until a couple of years ago, because the crap used to vibrate apart, break, bust, loose screws, bolts. But everything's either got a nylock style or pinch nut on it, or Loctite. So that's actually a good sign. I'm pretty glad to see that. These happen to be pretty decent bikes. I got a couple of them personally that I ride and use myself. No complaints whatsoever. Well, there you have it. Motor's out. So now we can test fit the 190. I'm going to set it up on the bike jack, lift it up. Let's get it into place, see how it sits in there. Kind of test fit everything, because I do still have to mount and make a couple brackets for the oil cooler. This thing comes with an oil cooler. And before I took it apart, I was messing around with it the other night. It will actually tuck in right here behind the cowling for the tank. So it'll get up out of the way and still be able to do its job. Let me get the motor set up over here. get it jacked into place, and we'll see how it fits. All right, let's jack this thing up, kind of get this thing in place, and see what it's going to do. I went with the black motor on this one, because the whole theme on the bike is basically black, red, and a little bit of white in the decals. And I nicknamed the bike Black Crush. That annoying noise you may hear or may not hear in the background is the water hitting my rain spout. It's the first time we've had rain out here in about, I don't know, 8 months. And of course it happens to be cold, wet, and rainy on a day that I'm trying to record something. But it kind of let up now, so it's not too bad. This jack makes it kind of handy. This 190's got a little bit of weight to them. Gotta get this thing up close to the place. Slide her in. Move her back. Up a little bit too much. We got it on the back side. I don't know if you can see it here, but we have to clear this engine mount bracket. I can unbolt it and take it off, but I think I can get it up underneath it in. Let me go ahead and take that bracket off, then we'll be able to slide the motor in. Took that bracket off. Didn't need to move the camera around just to film that. No reason for it. Anyway, I'm going to get the motor back in place, put the brackets on it, put a couple bolts in it, get this thing test fitted, make sure we're all good, and go from there. These bikes have a cradle frame, so instead of just mounting the motor and hanging on the top of the case and the back of the case, it's also supported underneath, so it gives it a whole lot more support. And that's what I like about these. And this is a brand new frame for 2020 for Apollo. This is their twin spar frame. So it's really actually a very rigid frame, and then it's got a cradle design on the bottom, which lends itself to some really good strength, keeping this whole thing together. I'm going to pop a couple bolts in here and see how it sits, and we'll be right back. Well, motor's bolted in. Take it down off the jack. Just got to tighten up a couple of brackets, but the 4 bolts on the bottom on the cradle are tightened already, so the motor is sitting here. I got to tighten up the upper mounts, tighten up the lower mount, and this thing is in. It's not the type of a deal where I got to go in and out, bolt it in, and it's done. So that's where I'm at right now. When I do any of these kind of builds, I like to do them really complete, take my time, and put it together and make it look like it was done at the factory. So always reuse the same exact hardware, put everything back in. If I got to make a bracket up or something, like if we're doing a custom build, I'll finish the bracket, paint it to match, so it looks like it came out of the factory that way. That's just the way I like to put stuff together. But let me get this thing all buttoned up, and I'll give you a quick walk around of it installed, and we'll go from there. Well, there you go. Motor's in, everything's all tightened up, everything's lined up. I swapped the gear out, running a 17 tooth in the front. It'll get a 35 tooth in the back when we put the new wheels on it. One thing that you're going to notice though is that this isn't a black one. I already have the black one. The stock gear guard doesn't fit in this frame. So what you got to do is it has to be modified. And like I said before, I like to put everything together and make it look like it was factory. So I made a template, matched it over to the guard, cut it to fit. And if you look, it tucks in there absolutely perfect, follows the line of the frame, and looks like it belongs. and you can't even tell the difference from what it used to look like. Little things like that give it a nice touch and a nice finished look when it's finished up. Plus I paint the edge black so it looks like it's a finished piece. Well, that's it for part one. We're going to get this thing up and running part two and ride it. It'll be finished up. New video will drop on Wednesday. It is now Sunday, I believe. Yep, because I'm dropping this video on Sunday. Technically, it's Saturday afternoon that I'm doing the build on. I like to put the videos out as soon as I build them. So this will drop now. You're watching it on Sunday evening. And I hope you like what you saw. Leave comments, like, subscribe to the channel, follow along. Check us out on Facebook at Muscle Minibike Builds. Check us out on Instagram. Follow us there too at Muscle Minibikes. And check out our website, www.muscleminibikes.com or pitbikeperformance.com. That leads you over to our retail store for pit bikes and street bikes and stuff like that. So we've come a long way in a year. Glad everybody's still here, and we appreciate and I appreciate your support. So enjoy. God bless. Have a good evening. Talk to you soon. Bye.